What's up, everybody? So, as you can see, my left wrist is broken. There's a long, funny story behind that, and I'll save that for another video. But today's video is about the fact that I am no longer driving for Prime. So, I know some of you are wondering as to why. It has nothing to do with Prime. I actually was offered a really good opportunity to return back to the tech industry, and I could not turn it down. So I accepted the offer and I decided to leave Prime. Now, here's where things get a little complex. When I returned back from Thailand and I got back and got settled, I reached out to Success Leasing and I let them know that I was going to be returning to the tech industry. I was going to be turning in my truck, and I needed to know what the process was for turning it in Piston, because my wrist is broken. Since my wrist is broken, I can't safely drive the truck to get it to Springfield. So I need to do this in Piston. They let me know the process. They tell me all I got to do is just take my belongings out of the truck, then take it to the shop, turn in the keys. They'll have me sign the end of lease form. That's the end of it. Everything's good. Conversation's good. Cool. Now, I give a call to my fleet manager. I let him know I have some unfortunate news. I'm going to be returning to the tech industry, so I'm going to be turning in my truck. And before I can even finish my statement, my man is, "Oh, you mean to tell me you couldn't give me no notice? And if I had known, I would have never let the truck sit for this long." Now, y'all see the look on my face. Let's get something perfectly clear. If you are a lease operator, you are a contractor. You do not work for Prime. You partnership and you contract with Prime. They are not technically your boss, because if they were your boss, then you would not be able to decline loads and so forth, unlike company drivers where you have to do what they want you to do and drive when they want you to drive. This is also why you technically pay yourself. This is also why you pay all these different organizations that may be owned by Rob Lowe, but they are paid by you to do whatever services it is that they do, whether it be Success Leasing for the truck, you pay for the truck. Whether it be Abacus, if you use Abacus for your taxes, you pay them to do your taxes. You pay the shop to do the repairs. You pay all these different aspects within Prime to do whatever services that they do. You do not work for Prime. If you are a owner operator or a lease operator, you work for yourself. So when he said that, I almost lost my temper, but I'm not that type of guy, and I like to keep things professional. But it took everything in my power for me not to, snap on my man. But he went off and all this sort of stuff, and I'm like, Cole, the hell you want me to do? My wrist is broken. I can't even drive the truck. So there is no giving you any notice. I can't drive the truck. The fuck you want me to do? Excuse my French. But yeah, the fuck you want me to do? So I'm like, yo, what you want me to send you pictures of the x-rays? Well, if I had a doctor's note or something, I just want to put in a good reference. This, that, and the other. All right, so fast forward. I'm at the terminal. I get off the phone with him. I'm cleaning out the truck. Like I said I was going to do when I talked to Success Leasing. I told them that instead of me just taking my belongings out and then letting detail do all this cleaning, I kept a clean truck anyway. But the little bit of dirt and dust and stuff like that, even though I got one hand, I got no problems with cleaning my truck. I do things professionally all around, regardless of what industry I'm working in. So that's what I do. I take my time. I take my one good ass hand, and I get all my stuff out the truck. I give away some things. I clean that truck down to a T so that way it is in the best possible condition it could be in. I even go and get the truck washed, engine and everything, before turning in the keys. Now, I realized that I have left a couple of things in the truck that I was going to be putting in my car, that I meant to put in the car. So I go into the cafeteria to go get a bag, only to realize my badge is not working. Now, I understand I have announced that I'm going to be separating and parting ways with Prime, and that it is likely their policy that when that happens, to disable someone's badge. However, this is what was unprofessional. They did not have the common decency to let security know that I was on the premises cleaning out the truck and getting everything together so I could leave, so that way they could communicate with me and we could work together so I can get in and out of the building. They did not communicate to me that they would be doing so. So I actually called my fleet manager back the very following day because I wanted to make sure that he got whatever papers that he wanted, because most of the shit was in Thai anyway, because I had this I broke this when I was in Thailand right at the end of my vacation. So most of my paperwork from the hospital was in Thai. So good luck reading this shit. But anyway, I digress. I asked him, you got everything you need? He says, yeah, everything's good. I got everything. We're good. I responded to your email. Okay, yeah, sure. All right, now that this is out of the way, I'm going to say something, and I don't want you to take this personal. And pretty much the long story short is I told him about that whole them disabling my badge and not communicating anything with me whatsoever, not having security work with me, not informing me or anything. That was very, very unprofessional. And for some people, maybe not necessarily myself, because I could really care less. It is what it is. They're going to do what they do. I understand. I've seen this sort of stuff happen in corporate America many a times. For some people, stuff like that leaves a bad taste in their mouth. And the whole reason why he wanted my doctor's information or my medical information showing that I had a broken wrist was so he could put it in Prime's system to say that I parted ways amicably. So if I so chose in the future to return back to driving for Prime, I would be able to, and that they would have nothing negative in their records. Now, granted, I completely understand why he was upset. And that's because of the way that I worked while I drove at Prime. I was a runner, so I was out there generating a lot of revenue for myself as well as for the company. I get that. But the simple fact of the matter is, what they did was wrong. They should have communicated with security or with myself. So that way, while I'm doing the professional thing, which is essentially detailing the truck before returning it in the best possible condition, I don't just randomly get blindsided by not being able to get in and out of the building while I'm in the process of doing this. That was very unprofessional and it wasn't cool. And some people, if that happens to them, they would see that as Prime essentially saying, fuck you, you don't want to drive for us? Then fuck you then. You can't get in and out of our building. You better call security sort of deal. You better figure it out. A lot of people would go, you know what? I'm not returning the drive for this place if I decide to come back. I get it. I do get it. I do understand. However, it wasn't professional. So all in all, my experience with Prime has not been bad. It has been good. Prime, I still think, is a great place for a person to start driving when they get their CDL. They essentially lay out the path for you to success, and you can be successful driving for Prime. My brother drives for Prime. He bought his own truck. He's in the process of paying off his truck. He's likely going to eventually be getting another truck and then starting his own little mini fleet under Prime. I think it is a great company, and it has a lot to offer. I also think, on the other hand, that it has a lot of little things that it could do better to be more efficient. And that's just me. I used to hound my fleet manager about constantly keeping me moving. So in the very beginning, I would say like the first couple of months, I would find myself doing a lot of sitting, and then sometimes even later on, after I'd been there for a while, I would find myself doing a lot of sitting. And if I am arriving at a receiver, I let them know I'm there. I let them know I've officially been given a dock. I let them know they have officially started unloading. Now, depending upon who the receiver is, because I understand that Walmart sometimes takes X amount of time and so forth. However, you are well aware that the driver is there, the driver is being unloaded, and there's, on average, the driver should be unloaded by X amount of time. You should already have been in communication with sales to get that driver another load. So when that driver says, I'm now departing, I'm unloaded, I'm departing, they should already know where the next load was and have been able to accept that. And then that way, as soon as they leave, be on the way, instead of having to, let me drive to the truck stop and sit and wait, and sit and wait, and sit and wait. That sort of stuff. That was a problem. It wasn't always a problem, but it is a problem for a lot of drivers. I've had this conversation with a lot of drivers, but I was doing it in a way to try and go, hey, yo, give me a load, give me a load, give me a load. So I did stuff like that. And that helped me keep running faster versus doing all that sitting and waiting. Because originally I didn't do all that. I just been given a dock. I'm now being unloaded. I've just been unloaded going to get the paperwork. So I started essentially overwhelming them with information. So it's like, yo, get this dude a load so he can get off our backs. That's how I did that. Some dispatchers, I notice, take things very personally. They don't seem to understand, especially if you're not a company driver, that, like I said, you don't work for them. You guys are partners. You're a contractor. You're partners. You pay them for their services. and then they pay you for your services, vice versa. So you're washing each other's hands. Some dispatchers will take things very personally. So if you decline a load, or if there is any sort of direction that they want you to go as far as something they need you to do, or they, well, not need you to do, but they want you to do, but you choose not to do it, they will take that personally, and they will intentionally give you essentially lower paying loads and mess with your revenue. And that's not good. That's not good at all. That's actually not good for Prime, because that gives Prime a bad reputation among drivers and will cause drivers to not want to drive for them, which means they will go out and they will advertise these things, which will make some drivers want to leave, will make some drivers not want to join. So they could be a little bit better about that, especially on the owner operator, lease operator side, about being more professional, straightforward. Because just like how when I decided to resign and I let them know, the conversation honestly should have been like, well, it's unfortunate to see you go. Is there any reason why you didn't give a notice? That would have been better, a better way to pose that, you know, instead of just you know, doing all that huffing and puffing and stuff like that. It's uncalled for, it's unprofessional, and it's a bad look. It's a bad look on the company as well as the individual. I did like the way that Prime had things set up as far as being able to get anything you need. However, I will be honest, a lot of things that you get in the Prime store, you don't have to get there, and you could probably likely get it cheaper outside of the store. I personally did that. I'm very frugal. I will spend some money on technology. However, when it comes to things that aren't tech, even if it is tech, I window shop everywhere to see where I can get the best price for the same item. I do it all the time. So I did that with the trucking stuff as well. So a lot of my gear I actually did not buy from the Prime store. I probably bought a couple of things when I first started, like my socks. I still have those, which I'm going to give to my brother. I have a couple of things still that are related to the industry that I'm going to give to him, because I would rather go to him than me give it away to somebody for free, because he can use it for his business. But yeah, all in all, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the worst company I ever worked for and 10 being the greatest, I'd give them about an 8. That's not too bad. They're a good company. They really are. So don't take the few negative things that I said and go, oh, well, I don't want to work for Prime, or I want to leave Prime. Please do not do that, because that is not what my intention is. I'm just simply shedding some light on some of the areas where Prime could improve. And if you are experiencing these things, I highly recommend, just like I did, not only when I left, but even before I left, have a conversation with your fleet manager about the issues that you are having. If they are not willing to address those issues, there is, for example, a division, or I guess it's a division. Yeah, so it's a reefer division manager, tanker, and flatbed manager, and they have people that you can speak to, and if necessary, you can change fleets. But once again, with that taking stuff personal, sometimes that is not always going to be your solution. So it's going to be hit or miss. But I wish everybody the best of luck. Be safe out there on that road. You know, just pay attention and drive safely, because it is very dangerous out there. And I'll catch up with y'all later. Peace. Where you click that like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe. It helps the channel, helps get these videos out to people who it can be beneficial to.